It is the end, my dear friends. Every good thing has to come to an end. And I wanted to go ahead and formally make a podcast saying that this is the end of the road for now for this podcast.
J.
What's up, everybody? This is your host, Imani Wilson, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of the Bombastic podcast. Please take this a moment to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be updated on my weekly post of everything from podcasts to other videos available here on the channel. So, I wanted to go ahead and address formally on this particular podcast that this is the end for Season 1! Season 1, you motherfuckers. If you actually thought for a half a second that I was really going to give up on this podcast, come the fuck on. Come the fuck on. No, I'm not. But what I am ending is the format, everything from top to bottom. There's just going to be a lot of changes that I'm going to be making over the next few weeks. Season 2 will start, honestly, promptly next week. I've got so many things like on my docket that I'm doing now, personally preparing for the summer, and for me, there's just a whole contingent of changes that I needed to make, and I just want to take this time, like I said, to shout out all of my faithful followers of the podcast. I mean, I know there's a good list of you guys. I could go over. I could say anybody from the homie Crystal to my boy Havoc, Hunter, to my boy Chill, Father Loves You, Stan, V. Miami V, my boy, who's been like the biggest, proponent of like really keeping me on a float, if you will, when it comes to the podcast. Even though I'm like, dude, I'm gonna do the podcast, who's still be like, bro, where the fuck is it? So, V, I thank you so much, brother. Seriously, I love you, my boy. But I really just wanted just to say that, it's 20 plus episodes. I've done this podcast sick. I've done this podcast, at least for what I felt at the moment, broke as fuck. I've done this podcast, mildly depressed. I've done this podcast at my highest of highs. It's been a lot over the last 5 months, but now going into month 6 right now, I just have a whole new direction. I've got a whole new team, a whole new list of objectives and goals. So I just want to say that the podcast that was forming is now evolving itself. Like right now, if this was like a Pokemon, which shout out to Detective Pikachu, still ain't seen that fucking movie. This podcast is like going from like a fucking Dratini to a Dragonair, and with the hopes of it becoming a Dragon Knight someday. But we can't continue to do Dratini things and not expect to become a Dragonair eventually. I mean, obviously you do Dratini things to become a Dragonair, but you get what I'm saying. Growth is the mindset at this point. Like I said, I could speak to you everything about, Game of Thrones and how it ended, and you'd be like, dude, it was a suck-ass ending, whatever the case may be. I have my own take on how that should have ended. I mean, quite frankly, if I can just go up the top just to give you guys some fill, besides me obviously talking about the podcast ending, I would have loved for it to have ended on a cliffhanger, quite frankly. And I mean, honestly, I know I'm just like, fuck, how did I transition from the podcast season ending to fucking Game of Thrones? But that's just where we are on this particular last episode of season 1. Because there's just going to be, there's going to be some very, very prominent changes being made. And I know in regards to how that's going to work, it's just going to be an entirely different show. The show is going to be under new management. I've got, new producers on here, new editors on there, so I'm literally overhauling this, and I just want to say thank you. Without you guys even giving me the time of day, taking some kind of interest to see what my thoughts were on, life in general, the latest and greatest in like TV and movies, the crazy shit that happens whenever I touch a video game, and just overall, just giving me your attention, your eyes, and your ears. Thank you. I've seen the views, even though them shits could be better. I've seen the podcast plays, which again, shit could be better. But that's why we're getting better. We're doing better so that way we can get better, so that way we can do bigger and better things. So I just want to say thank you formally from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate every single last one of you, every last critique on what was good, bad, or in between. Thank you so very much, and I just look forward to the summer, and I look forward to season 2 of the Bombastic podcast and all that I have in store for you. I'm your host, Imani Wilson. This has been formally the end of the road. And it comes to the end of the road, and I can't let go. I think that's how it goes. I'm singing songs from the early 90s because I'm old as fuck. So yeah, that's the end of the road, people. Otherwise, I'm your host, Imani Wilson, and this has been a Bombastic podcast season 1 ender. Damn it, we're out. We fucking out, man. Like, that's it. I got my bag. I packed my shit. I'm getting the fuck out of here. This podcast is done. This shit is done. Okay? For this season. So you go ahead, take this time to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that notification bell, because I would love to tell you what I have in mind. I'd love to tell you what I have in store, but that wouldn't be fair to me, and it wouldn't be fair to you, because then we're both building each other's expectations entirely too high, when if anything, we can just do this as we've naturally have been doing it, and that's all I want. So, that's it. This is that run, that raw, unabashed, last hoorah. I wish I had some liquor. I mean, only thing I got is some apple cider vinegar. Fuck it. I'll go ahead and take a shot of that on there. Yep. Oh. Yeah. So, you know, we're going out big. we got big things popping afterwards from this point. But I couldn't do it without you guys. I love you guys, the listeners, viewers, my friends, my family, supporters, other fellow artists, other podcasters and YouTubers. Thank you guys so much for all your feedback. And I look forward to what lies down the road. But for now, so long, farewell, good night, and good luck.